So far I've reviewed, I think, 4 records. You know, the first episode on Hip Hop Vinyl Reviews was like an introduction. And out of those records, I reviewed a really old record, you know, from 1989. I reviewed a couple of contemporary records, 3 to be exact. Count Bass D, Khan, and I also reviewed the Kendrick Lamar Untitled Unmastered LP, and I didn't like it. It was my first exposure to any kind of lengthy listen to Kendrick Lamar, because I'm an old head, man, and I don't check for new shit unless, you know, there's a lot of artists out there I just simply don't check for, even though people like them. It's, you know, some people can say I'm stuck in the past if you want to, but honestly, the overarching shit that I'm getting from the new school of MCs is just disappointing, and I get sick of being disappointed because I buy music. I also said that, hey, man, it was probably not the best Kendrick Lamar record for me to start with. And, you know, I heard that he's talented from a lot of people. So I got some people that are like, yeah, cool, I think you're missing out on good music, blah, blah, blah. You know, I really like Kendrick. I mean, the thing about it is a lot of it comes down to the beats. I don't like that generic 808 shit. I don't like stuff that doesn't sound like hip-hop. And, you know, words have capacity. So, that, you know, so my definition of what hip-hop's supposed to sound like is going to be different than somebody else. But it's hard to ignore that, you know, the difference between an informed opinion and an uninformed opinion. I got this boob, Ronald Murillo. You're just like that one dude I know, living in the past. But you like songs where you don't have to sit down and actually listen. Your generation is with generic beats and bars that have no meaning. So if my generation is everything from, I don't know, 83 to, I don't know, I mean, I still buy contemporary. I loved 2 out of the 3. I love the Count Bass D and I love the Khan. So I'm still buying hip-hop records. That's not part of my generation anymore. But I didn't like his favorite, Kendrick Lamar. So my generation is with generic beats and bars that have no meaning. So clearly, this guy hasn't listened to like Ice Cube, Lethal Injection, or Death Certificate yet, or X-Clan, or Poor Righteous Teachers, Holy Intellect, or, I mean, Raz Kaz. I mean, do we have to go on a whole laundry list of songs that do have meaning in the hip-hop past before Kendrick Lamar started releasing records? Because believe it or not, Home Slice, they exist. I can prove it. In fact, just keep watching the channel and I'm going to show you some of them. Generic beats, I mean, we come from sampling, you know, so generic beats is more like the dickhead that's using one of these little pieces of shit and basically using drum kit. That's generic. When you're getting your sounds from some company and you're putting them together in a fucking computer, that's generic beats, not sampling, not the whole history of hip-hop sampling. Are you not aware of this, man? I respect your opinion because everyone's opinion can't be the same as mine, but Kendrick Lamar is the more talented rapper than any rapper I've ever heard. And that might be a fair statement. Maybe you just haven't listened to good music yet, because good hip-hop music yet. Because not taking anything away from Kendrick Lamar, I believe I said it on repeat. I hear he's talented, I hear he's talented, I hear he's talented. Didn't make me like the fucking record I bought. I don't like it, you know? But he's more talented than any rapper I've ever heard. Now, can we talk about that for a minute? Because now Kendrick Lamar just went from top 10 to 1, right? In somebody's mind. That tells me that you don't have enough of a background to really have an opinion that's worth listening to. And I know what fucking time it is, motherfucker. Yeah, man. If I see a track deeper or creative than You by Kendrick Lamar, then Kendrick might have some competition. But I haven't seen no one as close as Ken. Sounds like you got the guy's dick and balls in your throat and you're choking on his pubic hairs, man. I'm sorry, but that's like Dick Rider shit. I fucking love the RZA. You won't hear me talking about the RZA like that. You know, I wouldn't say there's nobody as talented as the RZA. I fucking love Big Daddy Kane. But I think Big Daddy Kane's got some competition, man. You know, I don't know what to tell you, bro. There's a whole host of fantastic MCs and producers that came and went before Kendrick Lamar appeared on the scene. And if you want to really enjoy the richness that hip hop has to offer, you need to expand your spectrum of what you're looking at and what you're listening to. This is an interactive experience, man. So you interact with me, I'm gonna interact right back. When people say stuff like, well, your generation is with generic beats and bars that have no meaning, you know, and you know, you're just like this dude stuck in the past. I think attitudes like this disrespects black music and the lineage of black music. because you know Kendrick Lamar, but motherfucker, I know Billie Holiday. And I know that when she had to come in and do her concerts, you know, she had to go in through the back door to perform to a mostly white audience, you know, and trick their ass with the strange fruit. We could talk about everybody from the original ragtime that was taking place before they were making records to jazz and blues and soul and funk and old school hip hop and golden era hip hop and 90s hip hop. We can talk about all that stuff because to me that exists as one thing, you know? And it doesn't start with Kendrick Lamar. It doesn't start with Ice Cube. It doesn't start with Slick Rick. It starts, you know, so much farther back from when before I was born, man. It's, you know, this is a drop in a very big bucket, man. And you should be aware what's in that bucket if you want to talk about it or dismiss everything that's been in it as generic or everything's generic and pointless to you. You know, this black music that's been going on for more than 100 years, but at least recorded music for almost 100 years. That's not I don't think that that's an appropriate way to have a relationship with hip-hop music or black music when you just kind of eyes wide shut to everything that came before you started listening. Sampling, you know, the generic sampling that all of us did all these years in hip-hop, that's what taught us about this black music history. That's what taught us about the lineage of hip-hop music and the pieces that were pulled from eras before us, you know, from other black music, white music too. But you know, we didn't escape hip-hop without learning about the history of music and the history of black music. I think the reason why some young heads are escaping it is because they're not sampling. They don't have to go back and find those records from the 80s, 70s, 60s, and 50s and really listen to them and familiarize themselves with the different musicians. Be they, hey, I know this dude's got good drums, or I know this guy's got a great bass line, or this guy plays horns, you know, Grover Washington, you know, piano, you know, Bob James, you know, Herbie Mann, you know, and that's a white dude. So, you know, there's a big history in music that, you know, we can't just ignore. You know, moving forward, this is going to be an ongoing conversation. So drop your opinions and, you know, and I'll tell you what I think.